What's up, everybody? Welcome to Under the Arc Sports. I'm Eric.
And I'm David.
And today we're going to take a look at the St. Louis Cardinals starting rotation. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and find us on Facebook and on Instagram. So, David, when you look at the Cardinals rotation for 2021, 4 of the 5 spots are probably locked up, assuming health, right?
Right. Yeah, so the 4 players that we're talking about are Jack Flaherty, Adam Wainwright, Kwon Hyun Kim, otherwise known as KK, and Miles Michaelis.
Yeah, and I think there were points last season where you could argue for Kim, Waino, or Flaherty to be the top dog, the ace of the rotation. Flaherty, that would have been early in the season before we saw too much. 2020, there's going to be the massive caveat with COVID and just the weirdness of the last season, but it was unimpressive for Flaherty. He was 4-3 with a 4.91 ERA. In 9 starts, he had just 40 and a third innings.
Well, and don't forget there was a 17-day layoff in between games too because of COVID.
Yeah, exactly. And that, like I said, there's a giant asterisk with a lot of statistics, but it wasn't pretty for Flaherty, particularly when you look at 2019, the second half especially, where he was a Cy Young candidate.
Yeah, he had an ERA of 2.75, which was really impressive. And it was after the All-Star break, it was like under 1. That's how
it was nuts.
Yeah,
I tell you what, it reminded me of when Flaherty was going nuts in 2019, second half. It reminded me of Jake Arrieta for the Cubs about 2015, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
On the other hand, though, Wainwright got his stuff going and actually looked really good last year after reinventing himself.
Yeah, Wainwright is entering his 17th year with the Cardinals. That's if you count 2011, where he missed the entire season after surgery during spring training. Like you said, he reinvented himself. He relies more on old Uncle Charlie, and he throws 89, 90 mile an hour fastball every now and again just to keep a guy honest. But he's more just that old jump pitcher with a filthy curveball. He's the oldest player in the National League. He has no choice but to adapt his game.
Well, and impressively he has. So, I mean, I know it was kind of a weird year, but he had an ERA of 3.15. That's, for as old as he is, that's something else.
Yeah. And in 2020, he had 2 complete games. Those were his first 2 since 2016. And it was the first season where he had multiple complete games since 2014. So, yeah, to say that he reinvented himself is kind of an understatement, really.
Right.
Now, looking at KK, Kwon Hyun Kim, first year Major League Baseball, you can't ask for much more than undefeated with an ERA under 2.
What a crazy year to break into Major League Baseball.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, he was 3-0, 1.62 ERA. He was 7 starts. He had 8 appearances overall. He actually had to save in 2020. And, watching him pitch by pitch, there's nothing there that blows you away. But then you look at the body of work, and it's great.
It's a lot like Wainwright, actually. He's just throwing stuff up there, locating his pitches, pitching to contact, and just doing his thing.
Yeah. And, the 4th spot of the rotation that's probably locked up is Miles Michaelis. He missed all of 2020 after having surgery on his right flexor tendon. That's forearm. In 2018, First year with the Cardinals, 18-4, 2.83 ERA. Sixth in the Cy Young voting, out of nowhere. I say out of nowhere because the entirety of his Major League Baseball career, aside from 2018, he's 13-20 with an ERA of 4.5, including going 9-14 in 2019. What do you make of Miles Michaelis?
I don't know what to say about that. I know he came over from Japan when we got him, and he did a really good job utilizing the corners of the plate. My question is, because of that right flexor tendon, how much of that affected him in 2019? And I'm wondering if that was some of the cause of his issues that year.
Yeah. Now, given what we saw in 2018, and frankly, the amount of money the organization has invested in him, if he's healthy, he's going to be in the rotation. So out of those four, David, what would your rotation order look like with just those four?
Based off your ceiling, I would probably go Flaherty, KK, Waino, and Michaelis.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we've seen that out of each player's current ceiling, Jack Flaherty is the one guy who is capable of being a Cy Young caliber ace. Will it happen? Don't know. KK and Wainwright, they were great. With Wainwright, it's a matter of age and durability. With KK, is there going to be a sophomore slump? Have clubs figured out his style of pitching, and is there a book out on him now? We'll see. And Miles Michaelis, in my mind, 2018 is the exception to the rule. I personally am not expecting a lot out of him. I'm not high on Miles Michaelis. I think he's going to have another type of 9-14 type season, ERA 4.5, 4.75, something like that. Not too optimistic, but that's just me. But that leaves one starting rotation spot left. And there's a lot of guys looking for it. Most notably, Carlos Martinez. 2020, just a terrible year. And that's not just on the field stuff. He wasn't healthy and he had COVID. So his season was kind of nuked right there.
Well, and the interesting things, he's done a few interviews saying that after he had COVID, he was never quite right because of the lingering side effects of it.
Right.
So he never fully recovered from it when he tried to come back.
Yeah. So we know he's capable. The guy's a 2-time All-Star. And as you mentioned, when we were talking, getting ready to start recording, his contract is set up to where after this season, his club options for the next 2 years. This is, he has to play like it's contract year. He has no more guaranteed years after this.
Yeah, especially if the club decides not to continue with him, because now he's on the free agent market. He has to produce if he wants to make some money.
Exactly. Aside from him, you've got Alex Reyes, well documented. All the talent in the world, all the potential in the world, if he can just stay healthy. But David, this is his second offseason in a row where he's been healthy.
Yeah, and I know in spring training especially, they're going to give him a look at the fifth spot. So it's actually going to be a real interesting competition.
Yeah, towards the end of last season, he was coming out of the bullpen, and he was actually kind of lights out, really. So we're starting to see that potential, and we'll see if it carries over as a starter in 2021. Then John Gant and all of his hair. he's going to give it a go. Him and Daniel Ponce de Leon, I think they're kind of in the same type of situation where they're both capable. They have the stuff to be major league pitchers and pretty decent ones. I don't think anyone expects them to ever go, 15-3 with an ERA under 3. I don't think anyone expects that of them, but they're capable of being solid.
Yeah, I think their biggest issue, and you were kind of alluding to this, is just their consistency.
Yes.
When both of them have had chances to start for the club, they pitch great one game and it just be totally like knocked out after the first or second inning into the second game.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of just getting reps and being consistent. So I could see potentially them being long relievers again this year, coming out of the bullpen and maybe doing a spot start here and there.
If you were to guess based on those four, who do you think your fifth starter would be?
I could see them giving the fifth spot to Martinez based off contract and just giving him another shot at it.
I agree. I think it's going to be Carlos.
And I feel like if they don't go with him, they're not going to renew his options, and he'll be done after this year. That's kind of my gut feeling on that. I also feel like you're going to see Reyes break into the rotation sometime this year, whether it's through someone's injury or someone else. I just think he's too good to keep in the bullpen for a long run.
Yeah, definitely in agreement on Carlos Martinez. I think they're going to give him every opportunity. Because if he can get right, as we've seen, I guess I'd say Martinez has the second highest ceiling of any of the Cardinals pitchers, I think.
Yeah, and if he does become right, now you're looking at a 1 through 4 that's pretty solid to devastating as a pitching lineup.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you make it into the playoffs and go on a run. The other good thing about the situation we have right now with the competition is we have depth because we know Wainwright's up there in age. We know Michaelis has had issues. I mean, we don't know enough about KK's durability, but I'm assuming he's all right. But because of that, we have the depth that any one of those guys could fill into the rotation at any time during the year.
I'm just going to throw it out there. Keiko Rizzi's still a free agent. Just saying.
Knowing our front office, I don't even think they realize he's out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all we have for today's Under the Arch Sports. Thank you for watching.
See you guys next time.